ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Again we are meeting after a gap here, and just to recap, we have been looking at Atma Anatma Viveka. First, Shankaracharya, some Shankaracharya, we don't know who, the author of this text, Aparokshanubhuti, talks about the distinction between Atma and the physical body. Distinction between Atma and the physical body is important because otherwise there is a pervasive, what is called, which we know very well, Dehatma Buddhi. Deha eva Atma iti Buddhi is called Dehatma Buddhi. The body itself is mistaken for the I. If the body is mistaken for the I, then there is no more, nothing more to talk about. If the body is itself I, then there is, what else is there to discuss? Zero. And so therefore, this has to be, first, this is through Shruti and Yukti, logic, a logic that is in keeping with the Shruti. We dismiss that identification by talking about how and all the reasons why the Atma cannot be the body. In fact, Atma, body is Atma because Atma is everything. But then Atma cannot be the body. This is talked about. This is talked about very nicely from verses we saw 31, 32, thereabouts, to 38. And so this much we have seen, that the Atma is not the physical body. Let me share the text so we can look at these verses just very, very briefly, and then just sort of review them before we go any place else. So we saw how from verse 31, Aham Shabdena Vikhyatah Ekah Eva Sthitah Parah. So that which is known by the word I, Vikhyatah, famous, that which is famous, famously known as the word I, what is that? It's only one. It is sthitaha. It is established in itself. It doesn't need anybody else to tell it that it exists. Self-existence. Paraha. Paraha means it's the ultimate. Sthulattvena ekatam praptaha katham syad ekah puman. Sthulattvena, I think this S should not be there. Sthulattvena ekatam praptaha katham syat dehakah puman. So, Sthulattvena anekatam praptaha. So, because of the physical body, this ekah is counted as what? Anekah. Ekah, one, anekah, many. Why? Sthulattvena. Let's correct this right now. Sthulattvena, because of it being associated with the physical body, it is counted as person number 1, person number 2, up till 8 billion. And then after that, still, if we haven't counted other jantus, creatures, and each time we count, it is more than 1. So, anekatam prapta. So, how on earth can this Purusha, Puman here doesn't mean man, okay? Even though the translation would, if you look in the dictionary, that's what it would say. But Puman here means Purusha. How can this Purusha Sarvan Purayati iti Purushaha. How can this Atma, which is Ishvara, be just Dehakaha? And we also saw this Kutsitarthe Kaf Pratyaya. The diminutive Kaha, this suffix, is used in the form of a sarcasm, kind of a Vyangyarthe. So, meaning this little body, this, how can you be this little tiny body? How can the limitless Atma be reduced to this tiny body? And then certain other, what's that, reasonings were given. I am the seer, and then and then the whole the body is an object of my sight, and and then I also look at the body as mine, etc. Mama ayam iti, and so therefore something that belongs to me, how can it be me? Then the other one was, I am free of all vikara. These are very nice contemplative verses. I am free of all vikara, and whereas this body under discussion is always changing. Even as we speak, it is aging. And even as we are sitting here, wrinkles are developing. Okay, and so how can this iti pratiyate sakshat, this is, you don't need the shastra to come and say that the body is changing. All you need is a mirror. So iti pratiyate means this is very evident. And so how can this purusha, this ekameva advitiya purusha, how can it be, how can this purusha be this body? Then here, now after talking about the obvious reasons, Shrutya Purusha Lakshanam Vinirnitam. So, Shrutya Eva, even now he brings in the Shruti. According to the teachings also, Shrutya Taya Purusha Lakshanam Vinirnitam, ascertained. The lakshana, the indicators of what this Atma is, has been ascertained by the Shruti also. As what? Param iti lakshanam, that there is nothing beyond it. So if you needed any authority to tell you, the Veda, Vedanta, even Veda tells that, Vedanta also tells that, and Veda, Vedanta both say what? This is established through the Shruti that there is something other than the body. And what is that? Vishuddhena nirnitam. Vishuddhena vinirnitam. Nice alliteration here. So Vishuddhena as something unaffected by the body and as pure. And what is the body? Needing to be bathed all the time. Catches dirt. And so the body is subject to all kinds of things that it attracts, and so therefore this is not the, how can the Parama Atma be this body? Then Sarvam Purusha Eveti Sukte Purusha Samgite Api Uchyate Yatah Shrutya Katham Syat Dehakaf Man. So Sukta, what Sukta here? A Sukta that says Sarvam Purushaha Eva. Which Sukta could that be? Well, the key is already given here. Purusha and then Sukta. That's what it is. Purusha Sukta. And what is the Purusha Sukta? The Purusha Sukta says, Purusha Evedagam Sarvam. So this is another Shruti, justification here. So the Shruti is brought in to say everything indeed is this Purusha. Nothing is there other than this Purusha. The Shruti, which Shruti? Purusha Sukta. And so Api Uchyate Yatah Shrutya. So the Shruti itself is an authority, and the Shruti says everything is this Purusha. So how can this Purusha be this small little body? And then what else? Asango, another Brihadaranyaka Vakya is taken. Asango hi ayam purushaha, where proktaha, told, where Brihadaranyake picha, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So we have many justifications from the Shruti, many vakyas talking about that, about how the Purusha is Anantam, Anantam, and uh, Alasam, Anantam, Alasamsritaha, Anantam Alasamsritaha, Katham Syat Dehakaf Puman. We have seen in the Asango hi ayam, Asangaha means unaffected by whatever happens to anything else, as though associated with the body. With the Purusha, as though associated with that unchanging one. And then even though it is connected to that, so even though it is connected with that, even though it is samsritaha, connected to that, it is not affected by that at all. So how can this person, this person which is Ishvara, which is Atma, be the body? And then another thing from the Brihadaranyaka Vakya is taken, called Jyotir Brahmana. So in the Jyotir Brahmana also, Swayam Jyotihi iti Purushaha, it is there, it is talked about. And compare that with the body, Jadaha. Jadaha, Paraprakshyah, meaning dependent upon other people to take care of it and to talk about it. How can this person be this body? And then, not as though this is not enough, Karma Kande api, in the Karma Kanda also, this the body is Dehad Vilakshanaha. Dehad Vilakshanaha. And whereas the Deha Patad Anantaram, after the fall of this body, there is some entity that is Nityaha, that is not subject to change. Tat phalam bhunkte. Tat phalam bhunkte means karma phalam bhunkte. See, the Karma Kanda doesn't talk so much about the nature of the Atma and all these things. What does the Karma Kanda talk about? The Karma Kanda talks about the body being separate from the Atma. That much the Karma Kanda will talk about. And so that also is brought in here. The Karma Kanda, Atma is different from the body. It is permanent. It endures after the fall of the body and keeps on reaping the fruit of dharmic and adharmic actions. So then, so lots of justifications are given. So then this is, what is that? So it is not, whereas the body is samsritaha, besmeared with all kinds of impurities, the Atma is not subject to any kind of impurities. So now, after having dismissed the, what is that called, the connection whatsoever between the physical body and the Atma, that there is no connection, and after having dismissed that the Atma is nothing but the physical body, that notion also having been dismissed, now the subtle body is going to be taken up in verses 39 and maybe half of 40 also. So let us look at that. Lingam cha neka samyuktam chalam drishyam vikari cha. Lingam cha neka samyuktam chalam drishyam vikari cha. अव्यापकमसद्रूपं तत्कथं स्यात् पुमानयम्. अव्यापकमसद्रूपं तत्कथं स्यात् पुमानयम्. Ayam, Ayam refers to lingam. So do not visualize Shivalinga here. That's not the point. Okay. Lingyate iti lingaha, and one more derivation is there. And what is that derivation? Lingyate anena iti lingaha. So that second derivation we take here, lingyate anena. Linga means an indicator. Lingyate, this is indicated by something. Something is indicated by something. So this is called linga. What is this linga? Here, in the Shastra, there is a what is that called? There is a custom, a tradition to call to know this. To refer to this Sukshma Sharira alone as Linga. So the Sukshma Sharira is also called Linga Sharira, a technical definition, because it is not, you cannot objectify it very easily. Okay. And so now he says, Ayam Lingam, Ayam Lingam, Puman Katham Syat. Tat lingam ayam puman katham syat. That's a better list. Tat lingam ayam puman kathas syat. This Atma, ayam puman katham syat. How can it be what? That lingam, that body. What kind of body are we talking about here? Subtle body. How can this subtle body be the Atma? Be the Atma. How can this subtle body be the Atma? And first we have to review what constitutes the subtle body. What is the subtle body? The subtle body is made up of 5, what is that? Vagadi Pancha, Karmendriyas, 5 organs of actions, and then Shravanadi Pancha, 5 sense organs, and then Abhramukhani Pancha, the 5 subtle elements from which all this have come, and then we have Manaha and Buddhi, etc. So Manaha and Buddhi, and so these 17 components constitute what is called Linga Sharira or Sukshma Sharira, another common name, Sukshma Sharira. And so what about this Sukshma Sharira? The Sukshma Sharira is connected with the Sthula Sharira, especially in the case of a sentient being. That's why we say sentient. Otherwise, what is the otherwise there is no sentient insentient at all. That is why we say sentient. Otherwise, without the Sukshma Sharira, there cannot be any definition. There cannot be any definition and there cannot be any distinction from the Sthula Sharira either. No distinction is possible. So therefore, this is an indicator. These the constituents, the 17 constituents, not by one by one, but all of them together are the indicator of what is called this Sukshma Sharira. And so therefore, here, how can it be confused for Purusha? Because you see, both of them are subtle. So Purusha subtle, not objectifiable. Linga Sharira also we can say subtle, not objectifiable very easily. Because you can say, okay, I can objectify the sense organs, but we are talking of something that is all together and that which survives birth and death. And so therefore that which survives death we cannot objectify. Why? Because it is subtle. That's why it's called Sukshma Sharira. So there could be a obfuscation between Atma and the Sukshma Sharira, a mistake that people make very much without the study of Vedanta. So when the body departs, when the person departs the body, they say what? Atma has gone. Atma has not gone anywhere. But then that's what the feeling is. Atma has gone, they say. And then afterwards, what do they say? Oh, Atma has gone. And then the person has gone and gained moksha. Person hasn't gained moksha. The survivors have gained moksha from this complaining person. That's all. Person hasn't gained moksha at all. So there is no moksha possible without what? Atma Jnanam. So therefore what? So therefore this person will go travel all over the world, the worlds, the lokas, various lokas, pleasant and unpleasant, based on one's own karma. And then what? After the currency is expended, as the 20th and 21st verses of the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita say, after the punya currency is expended, all spent, then what happens? They come back thanks to the presence of the Sukshma Sharira, which carries all the desires, which carries the vasanas, which is the fuel for the Sukshma Sharira, which carries everything. And then, therefore, what? So, therefore, they are able to come back because of the presence of the Sukshma Sharira. But the common people, without Vedanta, what do they confuse? They confuse it for Atma. And this is why this verse dismisses this notion completely. So here in this verse he points out the dissimilarities between the Linga Sharira and the Atma. So first of all, what is that? Aneka Samyuktam. Aneka Samyuktam constituted has many constituents. Aneka Samyuktam. And we saw what those constituents are. Aneka Samyuktam means what? Many things are there that are constituted to be Atma. Sukshma Sharira. So 5 sense organs, all these things. So it is a assemblage, it is a composite of many constituents, whereas Atma is partless, free of all constituents. And then that is the first distinction. What is the second distinction? Lingam Chalam. Lingam means Linga Shariram. Chalam. Chalam means it is moving. It takes you to various lokas. It is all the time in motion. And whereas Atma Nishchalam. Nishchalaha. Lingam Chalam Atma Nishchalaha. So here when he points out the dissimilarities, when he points out the Linga Sharira, the characteristics of the Linga Sharira, immediately we have to supply the Atma is not like that. That is what we have to supply. Okay, we have to supply that the Atma ain't like that. Okay, and so therefore, so Lingam Aneka Samyuktam Atma Ekaha. Lingam Chalam Atma Nishchalaha. Like this we have to study. So Atma Nishchalaha. Nishchalaha means does not go anywhere. Does not go anywhere at all. How does it not go anywhere? We have seen that, where Nityam Sthanuhu Achalam. In the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, we have seen. And then, but at the same time, we say Sarvagaha, Sarvagataha. So how can you say Nischala and Sarvagataha? That is a beauty of Atma. Sarvagataha because it is all pervasive, not that it is going anywhere. It being limitless, it is everywhere all at once because it is beyond space. Beyond means it is not affected by space. It is everywhere all the time because it is not available for being constricted by time. Free of time, free of space, therefore Sarvagaha. Sarvatra Gacchati. It's not Gacchati. Even though we say Gacchati, it does not go anywhere. It is everywhere at all times, meaning it does not have an origin, it does not have an end. What is its definition? That which simply is, and it is limitless. Whereas the Sukshma Sharira actually travels, takes the person to various lokas. Te tam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam. So they go to the Swargaloka. What takes them to Swargaloka? The Punya takes them to Swargaloka. Ashnanti divyan divideva bhogan. In the 9th chapter, 20th verse. Ashnanti, they enjoy. What do they enjoy? Divi deva bhogan. Divi, in the celestial realms, Divi, they enjoy. What do they enjoy? Deva bhogan. All the enjoyments fit for the various celestials, fit for the gods. They lead their lives akin to the gods. Every day, some concert, no core issues. The Sukshma Sharira goes all right, but then takes them to heaven, etc. And even though emotions constitute the Sukshma Sharira, in heaven, emotional issues and core issues, mummy issues, daddy issues are put on pause. And so you don't feel insulted if somebody tells something. You don't feel affected. You're always in a cheerful mood. How nice it is. That's one persuasive reason to go to heaven. Or to sit and study Vedanta here and be cheerful right now, rather than wait for heaven for the cheer to come. Okay? And so then here itself, you can be cheerful. You don't have to go to heaven. But these people don't understand. And so the core issues not being there, not there means it's not that they are resolved. They're just packed and kept aside. That suitcase of the core issues will not open as long as you're in heaven. What other advantages are there? Lord Yama can longingly look from outside into the gates. Oh, I'd love to take this fellow and think like that. But Lord Yama is not allowed inside the gates. How do we know? From the Kathopanishad. Nachiketa says there are some good advantages to going to heaven. Yes, I agree. Natatratvam. I don't have to see your face there. What are you? Antaka. Antaka means that which takes away takes away this body from this world. So from that world you cannot take away the Sukshma Sharira. There is no entry for you. Na jaraya bibheti. Also one more advantage, old age and wrinkles do not come. That's why when you see the pictures and photographs of Bhagavan and idols of Bhagavan, you don't find wrinkles. They are forever young. And so when you go there also, you will be forever young, not cut out the forever. Okay? Yeah, so you will be young. Why? Because you are leading the lives of the gods, of the celestials, but you are not forever, because you will come back. So te tam bhuktva, having enjoyed what? All kinds of heavenly, whatever it is, victuals, lovely things to eat. You don't eat, you inhale, because you don't need to deal with stomach issues. And so there are no stomach issues. And since there are no stomach issues, bungalows in heaven do not come with attached bathrooms. You don't need to go at all. Yeah, there is nothing to eliminate, because what you're taking in is all subtle. And so because if there is a digestive tract, digestive issues will be there. If you have a colon, colonic issues will be there. If you have a stomach, then you can say, I can't digest this, I can't do this, I can't do that. All those problems are not there. You have the ability to enjoy food just by inhaling. That's why what do you do to Bhagavan for Naivedya? You just go like this. You just, make sure the scent reaches. That's enough. And then the gross part of the food is left for you to eat, because you are in this realm, you are not subtle. We are not subtle, so we have to actually eat the food. There, you just go like this: Om Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha, finished. You just may help the air go there, and then they are satisfied. Devaha Paroksha Priyaha. They like everything indirectly, especially food. And so, therefore, so there being no stomach, you don't have stomach issues, and then you don't have a heart, you don't get a heart attack, no sickness comes, no disease can come near as long as you're in heaven. And if no sickness comes, Lord Yama has no business there. Lord Yama is booted out. Even though he is a devata, he is not allowed in Indraloka, in Swarga, etc. And so therefore this is the subtle body is chala, whereas atma doesn't go anywhere, does not travel to lokas, does not enjoy anything, does not do anything in order to then enjoy later. Chalam nischalaha. So atma nischalaha, linga shariram chalam. Then next one, atma lingam drishyam. Lingam drishyam. Drishyam means it is objectifiable. Even though you say it's difficult to objectify, it is definitely objectifiable. Because you can sense the sense organs, you can witness the organs of action, you can witness the prana, all of them individually, those components you can witness. Whereas atma adrishyaha cannot be seen, need not be seen, because it advertises itself, and it is what? It is very much self-effulgent, self-evident. Self-evident self need not be seen, and even if you say, I want to see it, it cannot be seen at all. And then what else? Lingam vikaravan, linga deha vikaravan. The subtle body is also like the physical body, subject to change. Subject to change. How is it subject to change? So many ways. It travels, it's not the same. In different bodies, it has a different iterations. And so therefore it is vikari. It comes to an end in the wake of knowledge. So therefore it is vikari, subject to change. And then vikari cha means the to qualify chalam drishyam vikari, chalam drishyam and vikari. The cha is always put at the end. Okay. So then what else? One more. Whereas atma nirvikari. We always have to supply that, because the lakshana of the atma is not pointed out. It's only we have to supply that to distinguish. Only the linga sharira's attributes are pointed out. And so atma is what? Avikari or nirvikari, free of vikaras. Body undergoes many vikaras, like kaumaram, yauvanam, jara, childhood, youth, and old age. Sukshma Sharira also undergoes many vikaras, like now ragi, now dveshi, now there is raga, now there is dvesha, now there is this, now there is that. And then in the wake of knowledge, the Sukshma Sharira is dismissed. And in the wake of knowledge, there is total disidentification with the Sukshma Sharira. So then what? So then there is Sukshma Sharira is unstable. It's an object of perception. It's changeable. And then what else? It is avyapakam. Avyapakam means it has very small. It has no pervasiveness. It has no pervasiveness. Vyapakam, pervasive. Avyapakam, non-pervasive. Non-pervasive means what? The Sukshma Sharira only pervades a particular said body. So the Sukshma Sharira is associated with a particular upadhi. So it cannot jump into some other person's upadhi. It has to be here only. So even though we hear, what is that called? that had a technical term. I have forgotten that. When Adi Shankara changed bodies, there was something it's called. But anyhow, that's that.
Parakaya Pravesha.
Thank you. Parakaya Pravesha. That's the technical term. Entering into another body, but then that another body was a dead body. Let's remember that, first of all. That recently died body, where probably the electrical functions of the heart and brain were still somehow on a subtle level available. And so this Sukshma Sharira of Adi Shankara went there and jump started that body and began to live in that body. So it's not that, even though there is Vyapakatvam was there, but again it is just very rare and what is that very rare and exception to this rule. And even then it would be small pervasive. It's not that Adi Shankara entered many bodies at Sukshma Sharira of Adi Shankara entered many bodies at one time. No, it only entered this particular king's body through the whatever Shakti he had, whatever sadhana he had done, and whatever siddhi he had. So this Parakaya Pravesha happened. Parakaya means another body, Pravesha entry. But that again is it does not, it's not an exception to avyapakam. Avyapakam here, alparthe. The nanj here is alparthe. It is to be understood as a small pervasive. Avyapakam means small pervasive. It pervades only this particular body. You can't say it doesn't pervade at all. It pervades the subtle the physical body. That's why you can pinch a person anywhere and the person will say ow. Okay, so that is it is as good as it is as present as the physical body. It pervades the physical body, so you can't technically say avyapakam. So it is small vyapakam. Okay, and then what else? It is asadrupam, ultimately non-existent. Why? Mithyatvat. Because it is mithya. Mithyatvat, because it is mithya, it is as good as non-existent. You can't count it. Just like you don't count your shadow in any kind of a discussion. So therefore you can't count this. There's nothing to count. Okay. So avyapakam asadrupam. Asadrupam means mithya. Because it is not sat. By itself it is not sat. Of course it depends on sat, but sat is not the the subtle body. So then what? Tat katham syat puman ayam. How can this be the all pervasive Purusha? Whereas Atma is Sadrupa, Sadrupaha, Chidrupaha, Anandarupaha. And this one is the Linga Sharira is Mithya, Asadrupaha. Mithya means it is dependent upon Sat, as we have seen. How can this be that? So then the next, so how can this be the Purusha? And then what else? Then the next one, it says that the Atma is, it concluding this section, he says, Atma is the Adhishthana, is the Adhishthana of the Ahankara, and then therefore it is different from the Linga Sharira, of course, and it is different from the Sthula Sharira also. Why? It is Purusha. It is the self, it is the Atma of everything. And it is present in all forms, yet it is free of all forms. It is free of all forms. This is the gist of the next verse. Evam dehadvayadanyah एवं देहद्वयादन्यः आत्मा पुरुष ईश्वरः आत्मा पुरुष ईश्वरः सर्वात्मा सर्वरूपश्च सर्वात्मा सर्वरूपश्च सर्वातीतोऽहमव्ययः सर्वातीतोऽहमव्ययः एहं देहद्वय एवं देहद्वयाद् अन्यः आत्मा. So the Atma is Dehadvayad Anyaha. Anyaha means separate. Separate from what? Dehadvayam, from the twofold body. Twofold body? Which bodies? The physical and the subtle. Those are the two dehas. So Dehadvayad Anyaha. From this twofold body, the subtle and the physical, which always go together until the death of the physical body, they are paired for life, so to speak. This Atma is away from both of them. It's separate from both of them, even though we have to add this, even though the physical body and the subtle body cannot survive without the Atma. Atma powers the physical body by its very presence. Atma powers the subtle body by its very presence. But Atma is neither physical body nor subtle body. But without Atma, there can be no physical or subtle body. So, Dehadvayad Anyaha Atma. And what is it? Purushaha. Purushaha means Sarvan Purayati, in the presence of which everything comes to life. Ishvaraha. And here there is a Mahavakya in operation. Purushaha Ishvaraha. This Purusha, this one which is obtaining in the subtle and the that which is the permanent thing obtaining in the subtle body and the physical body, that because of which the physical body can be called physical body, that because of which the subtle body can be called subtle body, is indeed what? Ishvara. It's nothing but Ishvara. And then this Ishvara is what? The one who is the cause of the Jagadatma. So the Jagadatma, the Atma of the whole world, which is Ishvara, which is the cause of this universe. So here is a Mahavakya, the individual body, mind, sense complex, the one who is the indweller of that, is equated to the cause of the entire Jagat. And so therefore what? Sarvatma. It is the self of all. It is so that one doesn't mistake. One may mistake thinking that there are many bodies, many subtle bodies, and so many Purushas. No. Sarvatma. Ekaha Sarvatma. And that is further pointed out in the next word, Sarvarupascha. Sarvarupaha means all the forms it takes on. It is the Adhishthana, the basis for all forms, the truth of all forms, without becoming any one form. So all the forms are Atma alone. And then therefore what? Sarvatitaha. It transcends everything. Transcends, we shouldn't get confused, because people think transcends means it is away somewhere. And then therefore when they think of Bhagavan, what do? They look up somewhere, not in the world. So somewhere you have to look up and crane the neck. No. Sarvatitaha simply means unaffected by whatever it touches. Whatever it touches, it is unaffected by, like even a crystal. So when you have a crystal, then it is, you put some colored cloth behind the crystal, and then the crystal looks to be a certain color. And then what else? You hold some dirt behind the crystal, and then the crystal looks turbid and dirty. But the crystal has not become dirty, because you take away that, let's say you put some dirt in a plastic bag and hold it behind the crystal will look dirty, but then you take away the dirt in the bag, and then what does the crystal look? Very swachha, pure, free of the dirt. So sarvatitaha means unaffected by whatever is happening to the physical body. And many things happen to the physical body, now in pain, now almost dead, now revived, shock. clear, and then now revived, now this, now that, everything. And then so it is in shock, it is this thing, and then it undergoes various 6 modifications. Everything is there. And the Atma does not undergo even one of the 6 modifications, it does not undergo. Forget 6. It is not born, it is not dead, it does not die. And then na jayate mriyate va kadachit. Or if you want to take the Kathopanishad, na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. So vipaschit na jayate mriyate, and then vipaschit here means Atma. Visheshena pashyati, that which is the seer of all. This is the Atma, na jayate na mriyate. And then what? It is sarvarupaha. It is in all forms. It is free of birth and death. Birth and death are the 2 primary modifications. One coming in the beginning, one coming at the end. If those 2 are dismissed, then all the other 4 are also what? Dismissed. Totally dismissed. And then therefore sarvatitaha, sarvatitaha, and then what should it be understood as? Aham. It is I. Again Mahavakya, this Sarvatitaha, don't think there is some Purusha somewhere which is Sarvatitaha, but then it is Aham. Aham means I. And what is this I? Avyayaha, unchanging I. This unchanging I is not the physical body, not the subtle body, separate from the twofold bodies, and it is the nature of Atma, which is Ishvara, which fills up everything. And it is not only fills up everything, it is the Atma of everything, it is the truth of all forms, yet it doesn't become the forms, it transcends all the forms, and then it is to be understood as the unchanging I. It is to be understood as the absolutely unchanging I, immutable, unchanging I. And then, so therefore, then this is the what is that? This is the conclusion. And then now, from the 41st verse onwards, there is a little bit of a change of topic. Up till now, we have been seeing the physical body, how it is separate from Atma, how the subtle body is separate from Atma, we have seen. And then now we are going to look at the dicey question of the relationship between the Atma and the Jagat. This is very important. So what about the Jagat? There is the elephant in the room. You can't even say room, in many rooms. So there is the elephant right there. So now there were 3 things: Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Jiva and Ishvara are made into one, but the Jagat is left hanging like the effects of a bad nightmare. So we have to see what to do within apostrophe, what to do with this hangover of this Jagat. And then so what about this Jagat? So from verses for 41, and then for verses 41 onwards, it is a very what's the word for it? It's an important verse which demarcates this. But then he will come back to then you have to swallow the Jagat also as Mithya. Then you come back to a little more, what's the word for it? Subtle distinction between the Jagat and the Atma, and between the Jiva and the Ishvara. Also, what are the subtle ways in which one can fall to think of the Jiva as separate from Ishvara, separate from the Jagat. So that we will see next week we will see that. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः